think that fan is going to be weird for sound. This is the exact gun that I used at Let's See One. No, it's not. Oh, hey, didn't see you there. So cringe. Today I'm here to talk about my Hodge Defense Mod 1 build. This comes from basically people requesting this. And I think it's like funny to me because I don't really think there's anything like unique or really special about it aside from the fact that it's just Hodge Defense parts, which are good stuff. Like, don't get me wrong, Hodge Defense makes awesome guns, but I don't personally think that there's anything unique about this gun. It's just another AR, but here we go. So this is my Hodge AU Mod 1 11.5-inch SBR, and it's almost an entirely Hodge built gun. Not that it comes to me from factory that way, but I just pieced this thing together over time. So it has been quite a journey to actually get all the parts and like finally have it together. So I'm pretty excited about it. So I think it's about time to make this video. Let's go ahead and start. I guess we'll go tip to butt. I've got a Surefire RC2 on here in FDE. I usually use an RC2 on 11.5 guns just because if you go the mini route, which everybody wants to use minis on 11.5s, it doesn't suppress very well. You're still going to get a little bit of flame out the front. So I would recommend using the full size if you're going to go shorter than 12.5 inches. This one being an 11.5 with the full size RC2, it's great. And I've got a closed tine war comp on it. So it pairs pretty nicely. I prefer closed tine guns just because I think aesthetically, I'm still kind of stuck on that birdcage look. So I would prefer to have it be closed off. And I'm always kind of like wary of like, oh man, are my prongs going to like snag something, even though it's probably never going to happen to you. But I don't know. I'm just going to jinx myself. If I ever get like pronged guns, then I'm just going to like snag everything. But anyway, closed tine flash hider. This one is an 11.5, like I said before, and it's an 11.5 Hodge barrel. This one is actually from a later batch, so the gas port size is actually not as small as the original Hodge spec barrels. So Hodge typically sets their guns up to run suppressed and super hot ammo. So if you want to build a Hodge gun and you're not thinking about shooting hotter loads, then you might consider looking at something else. I don't think that Hodge Defense is the end all be all for everybody. That being said, if you're shooting hotter ammunition, and it is designed for M855A1 with a can, you're putting a lot of heat into the gun. You're putting a lot of pressure into the gun as well. So the barrels they're designed for that. So this one's an 11.5 barrel. Fortunately, because the gas port size, it actually allows me to run the cheaper stuff. But I do have other setups on my Hodge guns that the tightness in the port makes it so that I have to shoot hotter loads or I have to shoot suppressed or the gun isn't going to cycle. Right now, my goal for this gun is to be able to shoot sometimes suppressed and sometimes unsuppressed. I just think it's beneficial to be able to do both. And I do really like this gun unsuppressed because the weight of it is so light. So if we move to the rail. So this one's actually a pretty sick rail. This is the Hodge Wedge Lock rail, and it's just super light profile. It's got a titanium barrel nut, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it uses a aluminum lithium makeup. So I guess it's like supposed to be really strong, but also it's light, but it also maintains rigidity. So if you're gonna put like a laser on it, it'll hold zero nicely, but it's also super thin. So it just feels really good in the hands. Sometimes when you get the thicker rail profiles, it's kind of tough. But that being said, because it is super thin, if you're gonna mount M-LOK accessories to the spots around the gas block or even just covers, basically the screws, if they're really long, can bump into the gas block, which can push the barrel. So you obviously don't want that. If you're gonna rock the super thin rails, just be aware of that. So I've got my scout light mounted to the 45 offset with an Arasaka mount and running a mini on here just to keep it lightweight with a switch on the top and the DS000 just in case the switch goes down. Redundancy is nice, and it also is easy to access from my left side. I can access the switch as well. But I think the minis are nice for short guns. If you notice, my front sight is mounted super far back. The reason for that is because the configuration of how I have my light switches set up, I would prefer to optimize the ability to touch the switch here and grip the gun pretty much as far forward as I can go. So I can't mount my front sight to this front area. So I've mounted it back here, and it's kind of a short sight radius, but honestly, I'm not really shooting iron sights on this gun. I'm primarily using the EOTech. So I think I have bigger problems if my EOTech stops working for me. So at least I've got irons on there, but that's the reason why it's so far back, is when I'm gripping the gun, I just don't want this screw to like punch into my hand. So yeah, let's move on to the back here. I've got a Hodge Defense Mod 1 upper and a Hodge Defense Mod 1 lower. Those ones are pretty much just designed standard AR for the most part. I think the magwell is a little bit flared on the Mod 1. It's not much though, but it's a pretty subtle flare. Probably should have cleared this gun before I started working with it. But yeah, so it's got a slight flare in there, and I've put some stuff that I like on it, like the forward controls, winter trigger guard. I've got a Geisley SSA in here, and the Badger C1 ambi selector. Pretty nice. Badger has a pretty close relationship with Hodge, so I do often see Badger stuff on Hodge guns. I've also got a Badger bolt catch on this side. It's got a larger paddle, and it's ridged. And then I've got a Reptilia CQG grip on here. I really like these grips a lot. They're meant for close quarter guns, but I've also put them on long guns too. It just fits my hand really well, so I just like the grip. The only thing I wish is that I wish it had storage, but otherwise it's a great grip. So yeah, I like their stuff a lot. This is their Hodge Defense bolt carrier group. I think it's 9390?
9310.
9310, excuse me. 9310, and it's nitrited. Looks nice. It's got the clover on there. They've got the clover on the top of the receiver, and then it's marked Hodge Defense Systems Inc. on the top of the receiver here. And then you've also got really nice, beautiful clover on the side of the receiver here. I also have, if you can see, pretty small here, the takedown pins are also Hodge Defense takedown pins that are marked with clovers. Pretty nice little detailed touch. For the charging handle, I've got one of the early release Hodge Defense collaboration Raptor LTs. I wish that they had used the metal latched ones. This is the LT, so it's got the plastic latches, but it's got the Hodge clover on there. So I have to, I've got to, clone it correctly, I suppose. So yeah, Radian Raptor charging handle. It's a nice charging handle. I like them. I actually prefer the shorter latches. So the SL model, the wings are a little bit tighter in the body, so they're less likely to snag on stuff. So I actually prefer smaller charging handles, but this Radian one's pretty nice, and it's looks good with the build. Moving on to the forward assist. Hodge uses on their early models a teardrop styled forward assist, but it's not actually a Colt one. It has a harder edge instead of being rounded. I don't really know who makes it, but I've just seen it on their guns. So I just went with the teardrop serrated forward assist on this guy, just to finish off that build. Everything else in the lower, pretty standard lower parts kit. I know they have a super fancy lower parts kit you can buy. I think that includes Badger selector, Badger forward assist, and stuff like that. And I think the Mod 1 guns are supposed to come with their universal 90-degree selector, not the Badger C1 ambi selector. So like this one, you can actually change the lever styles. Like you can have short lever, long lever, you can delete a lever on a side, and you can go either 90 or 60 degree. The universal one is 90 degrees, single-sided only. And I believe that's one of the primary differences. So I'll probably change out to a 90-degree single side later, but it's what I got on the gun at the moment. On the back side here, I have a standard castle nut with a Noveski QD end plate, just something I had laying around. And I'm using my favorite buffer tube in the world, LMT dry film lubricated and coated in the gray color buffer tube. It's not really that special, honestly, but I think the gray looks pretty cool. And then my favorite stock of all time, Magpul CTR. For you CTR enjoyers out there. Yeah, that's if you know, you know. Oh, I think I forgot to mention how I have this sling attached. So the CTR has a rear QD cup. So I've got my Sierra Tac in M81 attached to it. Sierra Tac makes the best sling in the world. Fight me, there is no better. Basically, if you don't know about it, you should look it up. Beardus Systems, I believe, is currently manufacturing them. But yeah, it's an awesome 2-point sling. If you're looking for one, you should check it out. And then I have attached it to the front with a forward controls heavy steel QD cup that attaches via M-LOK. Yeah, this is pretty much the whole build. And I've got an EXPS 3-0 on here. This is primarily a day rifle for me. So if I'm gonna go out and I'm just gonna shoot in the middle of the day and I don't really anticipate doing any night stuff, I have another gun that's an 11.5 that I'll probably do a video on later. That one is night vision capable. It's got lasers and it's got a taller mounted optic. So this is just standard lower 1/3 height mounted. It's suppressor capable. So I could shoot it suppressed and unsuppressed. It's got a light on it in case I need to go inside and it's dark and I need to shoot. But this would be just a good standard day rifle that I can just grab and go. And I'm primarily going to be shooting when there's plenty of light. So yeah, that pretty much concludes this entire build. So once again, it's an 11.5-inch Hodge Defense AU Mod 1 build. And it's pretty close in terms of there are a few things that on like a fully built Hodge rifle you're not going to see, but you know, I had to fill in the gaps somehow. So it's like, this is, as far as I am concerned, the closest that I'm going to get to having a fully built Hodge gun. So Hodge lower, Hodge upper, Hodge barrel, Hodge rail. I forgot to mention I'm also using a Hodge gas block. Nothing really special about the gas blocks. They're just low profile and they're marked with the clover, so I know that they're actually Hodge. Hodge charging handle, and the bolt carrier is also marked Hodge Defense. So yeah, if you're interested in Hodge Defense stuff, check it out. It's pretty cool, pretty fancy stuff, and they're kind of hard to get. I'd say right now your best bet would be to build a Mod 2, which I'm actually in the middle of completing one at the moment. So my plan is to have an 11.5 Mod 1 Hodge rifle and then a 12.5 Mod 2 Hodge rifle. I also have a 14.5 complete upper that's also fully Hodge. I'll probably do a video on that one as well later. But in the meantime, I hope you enjoyed the video. And you can also check out more information on this kind of stuff on our Instagram page, dwai.videos. I usually post a lot of random stuff on there, but I'll also post things that you won't see on the YouTube channel. But yeah, let me know what you think about the build. Do you think it's pretty legit? Do you think it's kind of bullshit that I didn't actually get a full Hodge gun? What are your builds? Are you guys making stuff right now? And how do you set up your guns? Let me know in the comments below. Also, let me know if you like this. I have more guns that I can do overviews on like this. So if you want to see more builds, let me know and we'll get the ball rolling on those. Thanks for watching and see you next time.
You can't say that with calves like that.
Listen, I'm here to have fun, okay? These natural, baby.
Yeah.
No work.
This is my gun for summer, all right? This is short season, summer gun time.
Exactly.